Hey gang, so I am very happy to announce that there is a returning sponsor, Lautie, and this time they've sent the Jackpot and the smaller pendant Jackpot. This thing is so much fun. It's like literally tons of fun. I can't stop spinning it. I can't stop playing with it. But I am going to stop. I'm going to stop because I have to review it, right? So that's why I'm going to stop. Anyways, let's get this gorgeous thing under the camera. It's the Jackpot by Lautie. Let's go.
Running through the fire, let's leave it behind. We gotta go now, go now. We gotta go now.
Okay, so here we have the Jackpot. So this thing is, like most things from Lautie, this thing is, it feels like quality. It actually feels like, not rich, not money, but there is something about it that you feel like you're holding something really well made. No real sharp corners. Everything, all the details in it are fantastic. This sort of feels more like some kind of royal scepter, really, than a fidget. But this is, like I said, this is pretty amazing. Now, this is in stainless steel and brass. And there are little brass features inside of the die on the face, which represents the 1, and the 6, which obviously represents 6. This little bead up here is meant to line up so you know kind of where your die is going to stop. So, you know, in this case, 1, 3, and 3. So it's just kind of a little marker, I guess, to help you figure out where you are. So one of the issues here is just the balance. I find sometimes the balance is a little off when you're holding it. It'd be nice if there was something on the other end here to kind of like really even everything out. Other than that, though, I mean, this thing is awesome. It feels so good in my hand, and I have been playing with this constantly. Like, this just feels good to spin. If you've ever had a mechanic ring or something like that, then you'll understand the mechanism of how this works. These rings kind of move on the same principles. So the dice move on the same principles as the ring. So we're going to open that up in a minute, and I'll show you why. Now, this also comes with a pendant. So we have a pendant that, you know, this sort of connector here, run your chain through it or whatever, and it's only a single die. You can open it up. You can actually take the die right out and just have the 2 caps if you want. And you can also switch it over for this other piece, which actually just lets you use it. It'll sort of hang horizontally instead of vertically. So you have the chain kind of running through the middle here. So this one's a little trickier to play one-handed unless you do this where you pinch it with your thumb and index finger and put your ring finger underneath. Then you can kind of play with it. It is a bit tougher, though, to play with sort of one-handed. So next we have plenty of accessories. Now, we've got lots of spare parts here. So lots of spare magnets and seals for the dice. We have extra bearings. We have different screw posts that let you adjust the height, and I'll show you that in a minute. We have this little tool I'm going to keep up there because that we use that to take the bearings out. And then, of course, a ton of stickers. And then our little Allen key here. And I call this little. This is actually huge. This is really, really long. So let's get right into it. We'll open this up. Pull our post out. So this comes apart really easily, and it actually makes a lot of sense once you get it open. Yeah, this one tends to come off a little less easy. There we go. Now, this plus come on out. That's it. These are all your parts. Now, these are all the parts that we can access easily, but we're going to step into this one level deeper. So before I do that, though, I will just show you. So each of these, we'll call them just like sort of inner posts. They all have a set of magnets around them. And like the mechanic ring or any other of these rings, these ratchet rings, there are magnets on the inside. And so when we spin this, it tends to stick to one of the magnets. And of course, it only does it as it slows down. So that's what these magnets are for. But let's open this up one step further. So I'm going to move all of this aside. Just so it doesn't get in the way. Now, on the inside, we have our bearing and our other set of magnets. So we have our kind of our main collar that holds it down. We have a little seal on here. That's for those little rubber rings. So that just keeps it tight when you close it. We have the inside of our dice with nothing inside now. And then we have our bearing that sits right here that pops out if we want. I'm going to let this one sit in here though. I'm just going to let it stay there because it's kind of sitting nicely. But this is just, you know, this is just replacement bearings, like, or you have replacement bearings. That's all these are. And then on the inside here, we have, now these are all set up with only 2 magnets apiece. So we have a magnet here and a magnet right on the other side. Again, there are plenty of spare magnets, so you can increase the magnetic force so that it doesn't spin as well, or you get more of like a snappy pop instead of like a smooth gliding turn. I like the smooth gliding turn, to be honest. So I just kind of leave that in there. Now, what happens when we put this back together is a lot of people get kind of thrown off when these things go back together because they may not notice that if we see inside here, there's a ledge, of course, right? A regular ledge, but then there's also these straight angled ledges right here. There's one on each side. And if you look on your collar, you have one on this side and the other side. So you know that this can only go in one way. So that just goes in like this. And the trick is to let it go in and then just sort of turn this and then boom, it'll snap. So once those edges line up, that's it. You just pop it in. Oh, look at that. I tapped it and my bearing came out. Let's get the bearing back in there. It's always something, isn't it? There. Okay, so let's line that back up again, making sure I'm using the right side, the correct side, which I am. There. Pops in. And then we just get our little cap screwed back on. And that's it. So then we just tighten it down. This you can tighten down. And again, those little O-rings are like that little seal ring, the black ring, gasket, whatever you call it. That just kind of lets this lock in so that it doesn't loosen up easily. And then once we have that in, this is what's going to happen is, again, we can see these little posts have magnets in them. So as we spin around, again, there are only 2 magnets in here. So as you spin fast, nothing catches. But as soon as it slows down, they will eventually catch. So how do we put this back together? Well, very, very easily. We start with our post and we just put our end cap on. Now, these other screws are here in case you want to just add 1 or 2. So you can add none. You can just put the caps together like this and then take the shortest screw and pop it in. And then you've just got this little scepter that doesn't really do anything. But then you can start building them up. So again, each of these also has one of these straight edges on each side. And those straight edges will line up with the inside. Here, we can see these little straight edges. So once they're lined up, we turn them, make sure they line up, and then that way this won't spin. So when the die is sitting on top of it, the die spins around the little rod, but the whole rod stays in place because of that locking mechanism. And then we have one again here. So look, like if I just did this, you could see that these just stack up. See that they will turn until they kind of lock into that straight edge, and then none of these turn. So that's the simple, I mean, it's so simple, but it's put together really, really well. Now the trick here is to just make sure that all of your die are facing the right way. So I'm going to do one. Take the second one, make sure it's facing up. And then take the third and make sure that it's facing up. There you go. And then we put our top cap on and everything is locked into place. Put the screw in. And that's it. I gotta say, this thing, I love this. This is one of my new absolute favorites. Very cool, very addictive to play with. And you've got the little mini version of it if you just want kind of a single. I mean, these things are really well built. If you have the money and you're looking for something unique, absolutely grab one. Because they, again, I say if you have the money, not everybody can afford these. I get that. I totally get that. But if you do, and you are the type of person that likes unique things, then absolutely, I would recommend this in a heartbeat. Okay, gang, thanks for watching.